Show Up Fitness, helping you pass your NASM CPT. We have calls where you get to ask people questions. Don't you worry, I'm not teaching this class. I've graduated to bigger things with our own certification, partnering with great gyms like Lifetime, Equinox. If you can't get a refund for your NASM CPT, we have nice people you can ask questions to, and they will help you pass. Just like Susan in this call, you will learn the basics, you'll pass it. I'm the one who's going to help you become a successful personal trainer and get you hired and turn your passion for fitness into a career. Have a great day. Keep showing up.
When your hands are down like this is supinated. If it's up, this is pronated. The easiest way to remember supinated, so like a cup or a bowl of soup. So when your hands are up, supinated, down, pronated. You got that? When you're standing in your anatomical position, so you have terms like, a good question. So the anatomical location referring to the midline of your body is going to be anything medial. Then we have anything from towards the outside of your body or farther away from the midline of the body is lateral. Has anyone ever heard of the term contralateral? That's a big one. Does anyone have any idea what that one means? A good example of contralateral, have you heard of the exercise, the bird dog? You've got, like one arm and the opposite leg doing the movement. So contralateral is positioned on the opposite side of the body. So when you've got two different movements going on at the same time. And then you have ipsilateral, where we're looking at the same side of the body. So a good example of that would be doing your jumping jacks. The next one we're going to go over is the anterior. Anterior is the front of the body. Then you have posterior, which is going to be the back of your body. Proximal, so that is nearest the point of the origin. Distal is farthest point of the origin. So superior is above and inferior is below. So I know those are a lot of terms and they can kind of be difficult. Does anyone have any questions on those specific terms before I move on to the next part? So once you have figured out these muscle locations, a lot of these other things are going to make sense. I know a lot of people struggle with when it comes to like the assessments or like the overhead squat or anything like that. Or when you talk about those overactive or underactive muscles. Has anyone heard of your LCL or your MCL? So the LCL is the lateral collateral ligament. And lateral is one of the words that we just learned. It is the ligament right around your knee. So if I say lateral versus your MCL, which is your medial collateral ligament, where do you think the lateral ligament is going to be on your knee? That's what's so cool. And I've joked with Ashley about this. I feel like through this whole process, I've kind of become like an anatomy nerd because I've heard a lot of these terms before and I had no clue what a lot of it was. But when you really start digging into anatomy, it all starts to click and then you can kind of see the Latin roots and everything. But studying that stuff really helps when it comes to the exam because we've talked about this before, the exam's multiple choice. So you're going to have the 4 options on there. And if you know where these muscles are in your body, you're going to easily and quickly be able to eliminate the 3 wrong answers. So just picking up on these terms, it's going to really help to figure out where they are. So another great example, one of the big underactive muscles that we're supposed to know is the tibialis. Does anyone know where the tibialis is? I'm going to give you a hint. It's your lower body. I know it's kind of a crazy one here. So the tibialis is actually in your shin. There is an anterior and a posterior. Does anyone remember what the difference is between anterior and posterior? Allie says front and back. That's correct. Good job, Allie. You've been studying. So if you look through the list of all the muscles, you'll see a lot of that. So like, let's see here. What's another good one? Does anyone know what these muscles up on your shoulder are called? These big ones up here? So these are your deltoids. So if I'm pointing here, is this going to be my anterior, my lateral or medial, or my posterior? Anterior, correct. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of quiz on these terms and see if you all can guess which one they are. A position that is relatively closer to the midline of your body. Is that going to be contralateral, lateral, or medial? All right, so closer to the midline of the body, it's going to be medial. It says positioned nearest to the center of the body or other identified reference point. So is it going to be distal, inferior, or proximal? So it's nearest to the reference point. Is it distal, inferior, or proximal? We are going to look, that's going to be proximal. So anything that is closest to the reference point is proximal. So what about this? An anatomical location referring to a position above a reference point. Superior, inferior, or anterior? Superior. Good job, Allie. You got that one. Good job. Okay.